Hello, my UPSC aspirant. As we know that we are trying to complete series-wise the English the comprehension, so we have already completed 57 questions. Now let's start. Hence, see. Next to the comprehension is, in a typical Western liberal context, deepening of the democracy invariably lead to consolidation of liberal values in the Indian context. Democratization is translated into the greater involvement of the people as not individual, reminded that not as individual, which is stable to the liberal discourse, but communities or the groups, the individual are getting involved in the public sphere not as autonomous individual but as a member of the primordial community term on the religion or the caste identity, the community identity. Since should be the governing force, it is not therefore surprising that is the so-called peripheral groups in the continue to maintain their identity with reference to the social group. So, continue to maintain here, continue to maintain identity with reference to the social group, the caste, religion, or sector. 2. Yes, the which they belong to the world, getting involved in the political process despite the fact that yes, the political goals remain more or less identical. By the helping to the articulate to the political voice of the marginalized democracy in India has led to the losing of the social structure and empower the peripheral to being the confident of their ability to improve the ameliorate the social economic condition yes, in which they are placed. This is a significant political. Yes, had led to the silent revolutions. See, one thing is important and significant, this is significant in the political process that, yes, they had led to the silent revolution through the meaningful the transfer of the power from the caste light to the various civil term the corruptions within democratic framework of the public governance. So, let's attempt the answer of the questions. As we know, the first, the questions that come from this comprehension, the quote, the passes, what does the deepening of the democracy in the, yes, the meaning in the Western context, and we have to, my dear, no need to, as we know, the democratization translates the greater involvement of the people, that cannot be, yes, because greater involvement, translated as the greater involvement of the people, that cannot be, but democratization as the greater involvement of the atomized individual in the public sphere, yes, that can be. And the consolidation of the group and the class identity, that is yes, the clearly mentioned that cannot be, is the deepening and the deepening of democracy, and none of this is not going to be here, so definitely she is going to be the correction here. Yes, 59, the question, greater democratization in India hasn't necessarily led to. What are, especially for the greater democratization, India hasn't necessarily led. Yes, the dilution of the caste and the communal identity in the public sphere, that cannot be, of course, irrelevance or from the community identity as the governing force in the Indian policy. No, that cannot be. So this is also wrong. Marginalized on the large groups in the society. Of course, and this can be. Marginalized, it hasn't been clearly mentioned. If you go through the carefully of the comprehension, the clearly mentioned. 60 number question, what is it saying? See, what is the silent revolution that has occurred in the Indian democratic process? Of course, it is clearly mentioned in the last 2 to 3 centuries of the passes that social change through transfer of the power from the per-cast light to the civil turn the curves, and that is of course is going to occur. Why not the relevance of the caste and the class neither call in the political person or losing the social structure important in the behavior and the pattern that cannot be occurs. Here we'll be talking about the silent revolution and trace of course, and definitely I can say that is social changes through the transfer of the power from the upper caste light to the civil and the groups. Now, this is the countries that coming from some ecological research. That's the start. Ecological research over the last quarter of the country has established the evolution of the facts of the habitat fragmentation due to the mining, yes, the highway, and the several other intrusion on the forest, of course. So the band of laws, the block off the forest negates the fragmented in the smaller birds and is of all these the birds that come into the context of this dominant activity, resulting in the degradation of the entire forest and continuity of the forested land, escape and the corridor, next disturbing the fact in the several years. Extinction from the species of wildlife and how to the fragmentation is therefore considered as the most of the territorial biodiversity conservation. So, at the grant of the forest land through the mine, the company is coupled with rampant legal mining in aggravating this threat. So, grant under condition, of course, that the ad hoc grant, as we know, of the forest led to the mining company coupled with rampant illegal mining. Yes, that was the turning to, of course, sorry, that's the turning to the biodiversity. So let's have here the technical question, what is the center of the focus of the passes? No need to go to the also the option, of course. Disruption of the habitat due to highly human intensive activity is going to be like the infrastructure as well as the infrastructure of the road and the mining, of course, extra the mining of that. So these all are going to be, of course, the placement of the habitations. So next the question, what is the purpose of the maintaining the continuity of the forested landscape and the corridor, of course, the grant for the forest land of the human activity that can be or not be here, the preservation of the biodiversity, the management of the mineral resources, the grant of the forest and for human activity that can be. Preservation of the biodiversity include all options. So here only one A be there. Because we talk about preservation of the biodiversity, that includes all as management of the mineral resources as well as the grant of the forest land for the human activity that can be also. So here only one will be choose here, that is because of the question asking maintaining the continuity of the first landscape and the corridor, preservation of the biodiversity. That's why we are trying to. So further 62 I have the completed. Now next. Now yes, it is 63. See. The law in the many parts of the world increasingly restricted the discharge of the agricultural slurry into the water course. In the simplest terms of the offense of the most of the economy, shown the practice returns the matters to the land as the semi-solid manner or as the spread of the slurry. This dilutes its the concentration in the environment to what might have occurred in the more primitive and sustainable type of agriculture and convert the pollutant into fertilizer, soil, microorganisms, decompose the organic component of the sewage, and slur the most of the mineral nutrients to become the levels to be observed again by the vegetation. Further, the excess input of the nutrients, both nitrogen and phosphorus, by the agricultural runoffs of the sewage, by the caused many highly oligotropics. Latin law is low nutrient, the concentration law and the plant the productivity the red abundant into the water the weight and the curve the water to the chance to of course, eutrophic, the condition, that is of course the anoxia, that's the reflection, there is going to be the oxygen, yes, deficiency of the oxygen there. So the condition where high nutrient input lead to high photoplankton, because that condition can be referred eutrophic, that condition can be referred high nutrient input, and there is going to be a reflex anoxia. So due to high nutrients, so a high photoplankton, the productivity is sometimes dominated by the bloom, the forming toxic interest. This makes the water tub the elimination, eliminated less the plants, and in the worst situation lead to anoxia. The fish kills, so the cultural eutrophication that's important ecosystem service as lost, including the provisioning the service of wild caught fish or fish, and the culture of the service associated with recreation with the process of the cultural eutrophication of relaxing has been is understood for some times, but only recently did the scientists notice the huge dead zone in the ocean near the river outlet, particularly these trading the large catchments in the area such as the Mississippi in North America and enters the China. Yes, if you have the time, you can see. Yes, you can watch in the YouTube. It is available that what is the condition, what is the condition in the present time of the Mississippi in the North America and entering the China. After the watching, you will understand that it's really the biggest and the hugest the problem of that. And the nutrient, the catchment, the water, the flow through the stream, the river, and the lakes, and eventual through the story answer the oceans where ecological impacts of the mammal behaviors, the killing the virtual all invertebrate and the fish in area up to the 70,000 square kilometer in extent. So the more than 150 sea area worldwide are now regularly starved of the oxygen as a result of the decomposition of the algae, the blooms is fuel. Yes, of course, fueled particularly by nitrogen from the agriculture and of the fertilizer and the service from large cities. So oceanic dietron are the titles associated with industrialization, nations, and usually lie off the countries. As we know that is stabilize their agriculture and encourage the farmers to increase the productivity and use the more fertilizer. So let's understand the question might be on the passage. Why should the discharge of the agricultural slurry into the water course be restricted? Yes, losing the nutrient in this way is in this way, this is not the practice of the economy. Of course, I can't water course don't contain the microbes that can decompose the organic component of the agricultural slurry. No, water, of course, contains the microorganism, but as we know that nutrient enrichment is high, so you know that the microorganisms, they are not in a densely populated that can decompose easily all organic component of the agricultural slurry. So two will be eliminated here and discharge may lead to the eutrophication of the water. Of course, this is the corollary of discharging of the, as we know, highly nutrient, nitrogen, phosphorus, and other water. So definitely here, C will be correct there. It's clearly mentioned in the comprehension earlier. If you don't understand, go through 1 to 4 times the comprehension. You will be able to understand properly the concept of the author. 64, the passage refers to the conversion of the pollutant to the fertilizer. What is the pollutant? What is the fertilizer in the context? As we know, it has been declared discharged the agricultural slurry is the pollutant. Of course, this is going to be a pollutant and decompose of the slurry in the soil is going to be fertilizer, of course. If decomposed, as we know, if the microorganism is going to decompose, able to decompose, then definitely that's going to be converted into the fertilizer. So definitely B is going to be no doubt. Further questions 65. See, according to passage, what are the factors of indiscriminate use of the fertilizer addition of the pollutant to the soil and the water? This can be define destruction of the decomposer of the microorganisms in the soil. That is not going to destruct, but quantity of the nitrogen, the phosphorus is going to be high, and the population of the decomposer is low there, so they are not able to decompose all in this manner. So definitely 2 will be here, means indiscriminate use of the fertilizer. What are the facts of indiscriminate use of the fertilizer addition? One can be, of course, and yes, nutrient, the catchment of the water bodies, of course, the trees and the algae, the bloom. So 1, if you eliminate of the 3, definitely you have the choice. See, sorry, if you eliminate of the 2, you have the choice only 1, 2, 3. So B can be considered here as the correct. What are the characteristics of the water, the body with the culture, eutrophication, loss of the ecosystem? Definitely, if there is going to be eutrophication, that lead to be anoxia, there will be deficiency of the oxygen. How can live the aquatic life there? So definitely is absolutely correct, no doubt. So we have here C is going to be eliminated by the correcting the one option. Now let's see loss of the flora and the fauna. Of course, that's can be the loss of the mineral nutrient. No, nutrient is going to be the high amount. So 1, 2 is going to be the correct. The B is here. What is the central theme of the passage? Matter the appropriate lesson is essential to the protection of the environment. No. Is the modern agriculture responsible for the modern destruction of the environment? No. Yes, the improper waste disposal from the agriculture can destroy the aquatic system. Of course, absolutely. Use of the chemical fertilizer is undesirable in agriculture. No, that cannot be. If we don't, then how can I go for the food security, my dear? It is important for, yes, as we know that developing country. Now, next is that the misery of the world cannot be cured by the physical help of the only until man change the nature. Of course, it is very important to change your behavior and the natures that the misery can be cured, because this cannot be cured by only physical help, my dear. I'm not the telling about the passes which has been mentioned by author. I'm telling you here. Yes, the physical need will always rise, and the misery will always be the past. No, the amount of the physical helps will remove them completely. Yes, the only solution of the problem is to make mankind the pure. Ignorance is the mother of the evil. Of all the misery which he let man have light, then let them be the pure and spiritually strong and educated, then alone the misery will, alone will the misery, yes, sit in the world. We may convert the every house in the country into the charitable Islam, and we may the fields of the land with the hospital, but the human the misery will continue until man's change character, the character changes. Show the questions according to the passage which in following these statements is most likely to be the true as the reason for man misery. Of course, the refusal of the parts of the man to change the character, no need to go any options. It's very clearly into the mentions that no the misery can be cured as removed from the world until unless man's character is changed. With reference to the passage, 69 number question, following exemption have only we have to choose the exemption that can be also give the priority. Yes, importance to the physical and material having and educating, especially the mitigating human misery. No, that cannot be. This is not clearly the mention until unless man doesn't have his natures, his character nature. So definitely one is eliminated here, charitable homes. This is not that is given the priority by the author. So we will choose here, neither is going to be correct. So this is all about the comprehension. Further straight, I will proceed in next video tutorial. Have a good time with my Upsc aspiring.